Anytime, any season is the right time to be with you. Hello, Detroit, you've won my heart.
Yeah, what up, Detroit, Detroit.
Now everybody from the 313, put your motherfucking hands up and follow me. Everybody from the 313, put your motherfucking hands up.
Detroit basketball.
Hello, hello, hello. Hello, Detroit.
What up, though, Detroit? You alright? Welcome to another edition of the Pistons Talk. I'm your host, David Max, aka the underground voice of the Detroit Pistons. And last night, man, I'm gonna let Charles Barkley explain it.
I think the biggest problem with the Pistons is they think they got a lot of guys who think they're better than they are. That's what I think their problem is. You know, they got guys who got money, and people are like, whoa, I make money. I'm a star. I'm a good player. Instead of earning that respect. Like I tell you, the guy I love in the NBA this year is DeMar DeRozan. Gets that big money. He comes out like, I'm taking my game to the next level. Actually, and this ain't an old guy hating on young guys. When I look at the Eastern Conference, there's so many underachieving teams. I think what's happening in the NBA is now everybody's making so much money earning now. There's no need to want to be great anymore. Like, I think mediocre players are making $10, $15 million. You're like, why am I going to kill myself?
Where's the incentive?
What's the incentive to go take my game to the next level? I do think there's so much money in the NBA, it's had a negative effect on the bad players. The great players always want to be great. But I think some of the mediocre players in the NBA are making so much money now, there's no need to be great.
Like he said, man, players have no incentive to be great nowadays, and players on the Pistons roster are no different. They aren't. Back in the day, you had to be great. I mean, the competition was up there. You had to. I mean, it was big money on the line. It was still millions. It wasn't what it is today, but the work ethic was there. Right now, it's about 5 players with that work ethic. You might could argue up to 10. But as far as league-wide goes, it's not there, and that's why I don't agree with the whole notion that today's talent is better than it's ever been.
What?
According to who? Some of you fanboys are, more of the people who want the simple, dumbed-down version of basketball. I mean, if this is what you consider the best talent that the NBA has ever had, like, they need to start drug testing at some of these big sports companies that get to put people on TV or give people a voice or a platform on social media and shit.
That nigga's tripping.
It's about that time to start drug testing people, man. Just because you got a whole bunch of 7-footers who think they're 3-point shooters, just because you have a whole bunch of just because you got a whole league who thinks that they're shooters, and it's not a whole bunch of them not even sniff 40% from outside. And the Pistons are no different. They really aren't. This shit right now, man, Reggie Jackson, he really has to go. It's to the point to where he looks extra disengaged. And I'll admit this as well. Andre Drummond a lot of times looks disengaged. If he isn't getting it going early, his little baby hooks aren't dropping early. If he's not getting the ball when he wants it, he soaks. Him and Reggie soaks. They'll hang their head. They just kind of disappear for the rest of the game. And if both of you are supposed to be the faces of the team, it's time for you to, either step up or leave. It's one of the two. But I get it. It's like Barkley said. They're getting their money. They don't want to be great. They don't have to care. Their contracts are guaranteed. They don't have to give a damn. Prime example, Josh Smith is still making $14 million this year off the Pistons. He hasn't played on the Pistons roster in a couple of years. But, I mean, that's the nature of the beast. So, when you're making what Reggie Jackson's contract is worth $80 million. So, even if the Pistons want to trade him, which sometimes I question if Stan Van Gundy is too attached to some of his players, even if they wanted to get rid of him, who wants to take on that contract? Who wants to pay somebody the remaining balance of that contract for an average ass player?
20, 40, 60, 80, 100, 120, 140.
And someone who, every 5 or 6 games decides he wants to be an above average player. It's like if he's not knocking threes down and all this other jazz, then he doesn't care. It's frustrating, really, man. I mean, and I understand they don't have veterans here to make them get up and go, make them get up and play, be a professional, kind of lead by example when, some nights you just don't have it. But this is too consistent. So you might have to, look around and go get some veterans. I suggested you can get an A. For point guard, you could go get a George Hill, a Jeff Teague. You have a lot of options out there. You do. You just have to be diligent. You have to take your time. This roster is it's a lot of the same player on this team, man. My favorite players right now on the team are Ish Smith and Tobias Harris. Tobias Harris is Mr. Consistent. He's been the most consistent Piston all season long. Night in, night out. He went to the bench, still consistent. In fact, he improved his production. Stan likes to start John Lure. But at the same time, I understand because the second unit is trash. So you need somebody to come in and do something. And Tobias has accepted that role and he's flourished. But the rest of this roster, man, like what's the difference between Marcus Morris, John Lure, Aaron Baines, Reggie Bullock, just Stanley Johnson, like that. It's all the same. It's a bunch of bodies who, shoot occasional jump shots, rebound sometimes. Like it's a lot of the same kind of player. Nobody really stands out. Nobody, does anything great that makes you feel like, okay, I can hang my hat on that guy right there. It's a lot of averageness going on. A lot of averageness. This is an overabundance of average. And it's a bit frustrating, man, to not only for the fans, but everyone involved. From radio stations to people who cover the team to and it's not like anyone's just getting on the team just to be getting on them. It's that we expect more. We want to see a great product. People pay their hard-earned money. George Blaha mentioned something last night about the stadium or the arena not being as filled up as it probably should have. But the Pistons have been very, very mediocre. So who wants to keep paying all this money, for these tickets? Just to come watch a team get blew out. You see the effort they put forth against the Cavs the other night. Granted, I knew the Cavs weren't going to lay down and they weren't going to let their foot off the gas a second time. But, I mean, at one point the Pistons were down 40. And then the next night you get blew out again. You storm back to, cut it down to 9. Then you lost by, I believe, 16 or something like that. But who are we supposed to be proud of? Who are we supposed to look forward to? So you go from us rooting for you to get the 6th seed. Well, that was my hope. A lot of people are cool with the 7th. I like the matchup of the Pistons versus the Wizards. So I was rooting for them to get the 6th seed. But the way you're playing, you might not even make the goddamn playoffs. You might let Miami sneak up on you. The Bulls or something like that. The way you're playing, I don't know. It's about 16 games left. I don't know. I really don't. And if you do make the playoffs, you're going to get swept. The rate you're going. Some nights you show up, some nights you don't give a damn at all. They look, Andre Drummond and Reggie Jackson, and Andre is guilty of this a lot by himself. Just looks so disinterested. Just like he'd rather be somewhere else. Reggie sometimes looks like he just wants to throw his hands up and just walk off the floor or something, man. I don't know, man. And also, although KCP is very inconsistent to me, and I'm not the biggest KCP fan in the world, he doesn't hang his head like Reggie and Andre tend to do. Kentavious will tend to, he'll either keep shooting or he'll fight till the end. He'll fight. So I'll give him that. So I can see what Pistons fans are, at least on that front of, okay, I'm going to hang my hat on this guy. But to me, it's Tobias Harris, because Tobias is going to fight. He's going to produce. He's going to rebound. When Tobias' shot isn't falling, first of all, he doesn't do the thing where he says, all right, I'm just going to keep shooting. I don't give a damn. I had this horrible percentage. I'll be 8 for 21. I ain't tripping. You can't say I didn't try. Nah, he'll still be efficient. And then he'll still rebound. He'll still pass it to you. He'll still play defense. He'll still box out. Little shit. It's little shit, man. Rudy Gobert was slinging Andre around last night. Andre probably got like 80 pounds on this dude. Rudy just, you know what I mean? Like what are we talking about, bro? Realized something last night. Andre Drummond has a lot of Dwight Howard in him. And what I mean by that is he's always smiling and, goof around, dancing and shit. He doesn't have that mean streak. Because if you're going to be a throwback center, if all you're going to do is dunk and do baby hooks and shit, get mean, bro. Box out hard, sling people out the way, man. Like, just beast, man. Go, at least you could do is get in the gym and look the part. Yeah, Aaron Banks was the best player last night. What does that say about you as the only All-Star on the team? In the face of the team. If Smith routinely outplays Reggie Jackson. Most of these players disappear, man. It's amazing, man. And I'm not taking nothing away from the Jazz, because the Jazz are a solid team. They're in 4th place. On a side note, I want my credit for calling it. I knew they were going to be great this year. Shout out to Gordon Hayward, George Hill, Derek Favors, Rudy Gobert, Alec Burke, Rodney Hood. That team is stacked, man. I like them. Whoever put that team together, man, they drafted well, they traded well, they made smart moves. And Stan, if you're listening, you got to do the same thing to this roster. The Eastern Conference is mediocre. Meaning, there's a free lane to the playoffs every year. There's a free lane to go deep in the playoffs. What exit you get off of, that's predicated on the talent of your team, but there's a free lane. So why not build this roster? I feel like a move should have been made at the trade deadline. There wasn't one. Hopefully around draft time. Hopefully they make a trade, because free agency wise, you got to sell somebody on Detroit, and Detroit has whatever reputation. So who knows how that plays into where a player signs? I don't know. But to get better, it's going to either have to be trades, sign some nice veterans, hard-nosed veterans, or just draft really well. And at this point, if you're going to suck, if you're going to play this way and you're going to suck, just miss the playoffs. Just go get in the lottery. This is a nice-ass draft. A good one. Matter of fact, fuck it. Tank. 16 games is more than ample time. This is a deep-ass draft. Highly doubt you're going to get the number 1 draft pick and go get Lonzo Ball. What ifs? Tank, bro. You want to do it. Fuck it. If you're going to give us inconsistency, if you're going to do something, do it all the way. That's all I'm saying. Here's the underground voice of the Detroit Pistons, man. Y'all have a good night. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Peace.